We have now been joined in the media center by our winning crew chief today, Chad Knaus. Chad, another dominating performance for you guys here at Dover. An impressive 9 wins for Jimmie now, officially 9 monster trophies. So talk a little bit about the performance today and winning back-to-back races between the Coke 600 last week and the FedEx 400 today.
Gosh, I don't really even know where to, quite honestly, where to begin. We come in here with high expectations, obviously, after winning the 600 last weekend. We came here with a brand new race car, and things went really well for us straight out of the gate. Jimmie made his first laps on Friday, and he was very happy with the race car. And we were pretty optimistic at that point. Qualifying went really well, and in race practice, Jimmie was very happy with the race car, and we were posting very good lap times. So we were pretty excited to get into the event today. At that point, we were just out there just trying to manage the race and see what we could do, and it turned out to be a great day for everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, the Cobalt team, and everybody involved.
We'll go ahead and take questions for Chad. If you have one, please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation, and we'll start with Kelly in the middle.
Kelly Craner from Popular Speed. Chad, I think Jimmie came over the radio afterwards and said, or you said, I knew you'd love that car. So what was it about this car? And I guess I can imagine what kind of car you're going to bring for Pocono now.
Yeah, actually, sorry, I'm a little stuffy for some reason. I think my allergies are getting to me. But going into the 600 last week, and I told Jimmie we were taking his favorite race car to the racetrack for the 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I told him that his new favorite car was going to be going to Dover the following week. And then I told him his next favorite car was going to be going to Indianapolis. So far I'm doing pretty good, and hopefully we can keep it true. This is, we've worked really hard. The one thing I'm really impressed with at Hendrick Motorsports is when we do get behind, which we feel like we've been just a pinch behind this year, everybody digs down really, really deep, and they work hard from the pit crew, the guys that hang the bodies, to the guys that build the chassis, to the guys that build the engines, and they try to find an advantage. And when we do finally start to hit our stride, all those things that everybody worked on starts to culminate, and we can get out there and really start to make things happen. So I think we're seeing a lot of the fruit of a lot of people's labor right now at the racetrack, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting to Pocono. I've said it time and time again, Pocono is one of my favorite racetracks. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very difficult. So from a driver standpoint, this is definitely a tough racetrack. From Pocono standpoint, that's definitely a crew chief tough track, so I'm looking forward to getting there.
All right, we'll go upstairs to take a question in the press box.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. After you won last week, you said that you'd kind of know if you guys were back when you were controlling the outcome of the races, so to speak, and you seem to dictate that today, where it was kind of a 48 race. You didn't have to wait for things to play into your hands. Does this mean you're closer to where you want to be now, or back, or the favorites, or are you still not there?
No, I feel like we've still got some room to grow. I'm looking forward to the next series of race cars that we build at Hendrick Motorsports. I'm excited about that. I feel like that if the 4 car didn't have the troubles that they had today, they would have been a serious threat. And so we need to continue to work to try to minimize those threats. But we're close. We're definitely close. We had solid pit stops today. They need to be a little bit better. We had a good race car today. It needs to be a bit better. So I think if we can start digging in a little bit deeper, we'll finally have what we want. You know, we get to about September time.
Okay, we'll stay upstairs for one additional question in the press box.
Brant James from ESPN.com. You mentioned that you felt you guys were behind a little bit. What exactly did you get behind on, and how did you work out of it to where you are now?
Well, like I said, we're still behind. I think we're behind on just a little bit of everything. What happens, and I've said this before, when you are fortunate enough to battle for a championship, your main focus goes solely on trying to win a championship. So as we were going through and in pursuit of the 2013 season championship, we lost focus on 2014. But that's just inherent. That's what happens because you have to focus on the goal that's directly in front of you. I feel like that we've got a long ways to go yet to understand exactly what we need. With the new ride height changes and rules that they've got out there, it's a different animal, and I know it's difficult to understand, and it's not easy for everybody to understand. but it does change the way you approach a race car. The advantages that we had last year were minimized with these new rules. So we've got to try to find some new advantages and new ways to get the car set up to where Jimmy's happy with it. And the last couple of weeks have shown great strides in that direction, but we're not where we need to be.
Okay, we're going to come back downstairs and take a question from Holly Kane, and then we'll go back to Mike Hembry.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. There's some rumblings that Jimmie had hernia surgery during the off season. Did you know that? I imagine you probably did. And did that set you guys back? Did it have any effect whatsoever on preparing for the season?
The only thing from my standpoint that set us back for the 2014 season was just us going for the championship in 2013, and that's it. That was purely my focus last year and all I was concerned about. I didn't care about anything that we were doing to prepare for 2014. It was the furthest thing from my mind for the last 3 months of last year. When you have a guy like, you know, the Penske guys who were basically out of the championship hunt, when you have a guy like Rodney Childers, who's an amazing crew chief, a great crew chief, you give him 6 months off to where all he has to do is prepare for the next season, he better come out guns blazing, especially when he has a driver like Kevin Harvick. So I feel like that is the reason that we were behind coming into the 2014 season. And, you know, as the further we get into the season, the more I think that'll level back off.
All right, if we can get a microphone to Mike Hembry, please.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Chad, did Jimmie have any comment about the track issue before it happened or after it happened? And did you anticipate it might be a problem after the patching was done?
Man, I'll tell you what, I didn't see it, and I mentioned it to Jimmie, excuse me. And oddly enough, he's like, "Yeah, I saw that when I was driving around for driver intros." I was like, "Man, you think you could have told somebody?" That would have been a good idea at that point, maybe to let everybody know that, hey, so you know the track's coming apart. But he saw it then. He had not said a word about it during the event, and I think, you know, quite honestly, we've seen this happen time and time again, and there's nothing wrong with the racing surface. There's no bones about what this facility does, because it happens often. It's no different than your local street. As you go through winters and summers and the expansion joints change, you have that type of fatigue on your pavement. So it happens, and I think those guys did a fantastic job of fixing the track racing surface. And man, he didn't say anything afterwards, and I think that it held up great. You know, everybody wanted to blow it apart. I mean, I could look down at the TV periodically, and I could see the crack's getting just a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Everybody's waiting for it to come apart, and I think the track service crew did a fantastic job repairing that damage.
Okay, we'll go back up to the press box for an additional question.
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times-Tribune in Pennsylvania. Chad, traditionally on the schedule, Charlotte, Dover, and Pocono are all three races right together, and you guys traditionally do well at those tracks. What is it about that you're able to have the success over the years at those three, because there's such three different tracks?
Well, obviously, Charlotte Motor Speedway is near and dear to our hearts. It's right down the street from Hendrick Motorsports, and we've been successful there for many, many years. So that's inherent that's going to be a good track for us. Obviously, Jimmie is fantastic here at the Monster Mile, and so basically that lends itself to us as well. And Pocono quite often. Hey, Mr. Pemberton, good to see you as well. Robin, they want to talk to you about the track racing surface. Okay, call me. His number is 704. No. Jimmie loves Dover. We talk about time and time again about how when Jimmie was running his ASA car here at Dover, how he took to it immediately, really enjoyed it. So I think that's part of the reason. Again, like I've said time and time again, Pocono is such a fun racetrack from a crew chief standpoint, because you have to work so many different angles, and that's another reason why I think we're successful there. So we're really looking forward to getting there next weekend and just seeing if we can get another solid finish.
All right, we'll take an additional question in the press box.
Chad, Chris, CatchFence.com. Just curious if you guys still feel like you were missing something at the beginning of the season, or was it just a series of circumstances that kept you guys from winning?
That's a great question, and I think both. I feel like that we were missing a little bit of something at the beginning of the season, And I think circumstances also kept us out of victory lane. I think if you look at how we performed in Fontana, California, we had a great race car there. And with a lot of help from the 24 car, we stole some of their notes. And then we go to Bristol, and I think we had a fantastic race car at Bristol. Unfortunately, we had another tire failure there like we did in Fontana. And then we go to Martinsville, and we had a shot to win in Martinsville with just a few laps to go there. So I think circumstantial and the fact that we were missing a little bit of something at the beginning of the season was compounded. But quite honestly, I'm very proud of where the team is at right now and the way that it's performing, and looking forward to the races to come.
All right, we'll take one final question for Chad before we move on to Jimmie. Go ahead, Matt.
Matt Weaver, PopularSpeed.com. Chad, this is for you. It seems like right now, more than at any point in your career, you're having more fun. You're laughing a lot more. You're smiling a lot more. Is that the case, or is it just, this win particularly, something about it special?
It's circumstantial. Used that word a minute ago.
Yeah, because if you ask Jimmie, I was a jerk 3 weeks ago. So, yeah, quite honestly, I'm at the best point in my life. I've been very fortunate enough to have been in the sport for a long time. I've seen it grow and change, and it's been a weird, circuitous route to get to where we are now. But quite honestly, I've never been happier in my life with my personal life, my performance at the racetrack, what we've got going on. And, Jimmie has helped a lot with that. So has Mr. Hendrick, as far as making me understand that I need to be able to take time away from the facility and understand that there's life outside of motorsports. I've tried for a long time to deny that fact, but I'm really, really enjoying it all the way around. So it's fun. Trust me. We're going back to Charlotte tonight, and we're heading up to Loudon, New Hampshire, tomorrow evening. And then we go race Pocono, and then we go back home from Pocono, and then we head out to Chicago to tire test the week after that. So it's busy as ever, but we're in a good spot right now. Everything's great.
Joined now by six-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion and now two-time 2014 winner, Jimmie Johnson, here in the Media Center. Jimmie, can you run us through the race today and the momentum this 48 team is on right now?
Yeah, I'd say the first segment of the race we were decent, but just couldn't really go anywhere. Kind of ran in fifth or sixth for a while, and I could see a couple guys losing the handle a little bit, and I was able to work my way up through. But from the second run on, the track came to us, or I don't know, something happened there, and the car was just incredible the rest of the day. I mean, we had to adjust a bit. I think the track changed the first 3/4 of the race, and we had to stay on top of adjustments to get there. And then at the end, we really honed in on the balance of the race car I was after and what adjustments to put under it, and that thing was awesome. See you, bud. Yep.
We're going to open up now the questions. Please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation. We'll start with Dan.
Dan Gelson, the Associated Press. Jimmie, what exactly did you notice was wrong with the track during driver introductions, and when did you have hernia surgery?
Two off-the-wall questions, for sure. So the track, when I was coming to the driver's meeting, I could just see the corner of one of those slabs, the way the squares or rectangles are poured on the track. I could see something from afar that just looked like the edge was broken, like the corner was broken on it. I didn't think much of it. I mean, there's countless track vehicles driving around the racetrack and actually right over the top of it looking at it, and everybody else. I just didn't think much of it. I saw it from afar and just chalked it up to maybe a bad angle looking at something, because I didn't drive over the top of it. I saw it from 40, 50 yards away. And when I came back around and saw that was the spot, I'm like, no way, that's what I saw from afar earlier. And then the hernia surgery was literally right after the banquet. Got home Sunday and then went in Monday morning following the banquet. I had, surprised nobody knew about this thing sooner. It wasn't a secret by any stretch of the imagination, but I had bilateral hernias, so one on each side, and then a third one in my belly button. So I was very lucky to go in and have all three fixed. And it wasn't a sports hernia. It was just something over time and getting older that they said something like 60% of men near the age of 40 have these and don't know. But I saw one mid-season, a little protrusion in my skin, and I went and had it checked out, and they're like, you've got a couple years to get it fixed. So I figured I'd get it fixed sooner than later, and went in right after the banquet And then that kind of led to us missing out on some of the test sessions that went on during the winter months. But we felt like it was time to shut things down and let the team kind of recoup, and then just got back after that.
We'll go over next to Steve. Please raise your hand if you have any questions.
Steve Richards, the PRN. Jimmie, Chad in here just said that at Charlotte he brought your favorite car. Here he brought your another favorite car. Indianapolis, another favorite car. Do you believe him, or is that just psychological on Chad's part?
You never know with the crew chief. I knew that our 600 car was good. This was a new car that we brought here, and I think Indy, it might be a frame that we've had in the system, but it's, things have changed quite a bit with this no ride height limit. So we're now at a point where we've identified areas to produce speed and bringing new versions and new cars to the track. So what we learned here is good, and it's going to help change our system. And then Pocono, Indy, those. I know Chad's working hard on our Indy race car. We should have a nice one there too.
I mean, can you tell by feel that it's a favorite car, so to speak?
It's harder with these with the chassis we have now. When I first started, I still remember the chassis number. It was number 059. 59 was a chassis that I loved, and it had this soft, squishy feeling to it, and it worked so well at the rough track. So we won a bunch of races at Charlotte with it, a bunch of races at Atlanta, and really the car probably won more than anywhere. In today's world, with the bodies being mandated and how they're positioned on the cars, the chassis being, line on line, the centers being line on line with the chassis and body, it's been very difficult to know what car you climb in. NASCAR has made them all so equal, and for them easier to regulate than to officiate. So I understand why, but it's difficult now to know what car you're in. To say, yeah, that's my favorite. So I used to pay attention to it, and anymore, if he tells me it's a great car, I just get in there and go, believe him.
We're going to go to Giselle next, then we'll go upstairs to the press box. Giselle.
Jimmie, 47 ABC. Can you describe your thoughts going into the last 10 laps and, possibly winning, close enough that you're winning the race? Just what's going in your head at that time?
I would tend to go just hoping it would stay green, and then when the caution came out, I'm scouring the track looking for where the debris might be, and I saw some rubber offline and assumed that's what it was for, and I was hopeful I would see like a bumper lane out there, something big and noticeable. But cautions at the end, you can kind of expect them for whatever reason, and truthfully, it's an opportunity for the guy that's dominated all day to make a mistake. So I wanted to make sure I chose the right lane and got a good restart and got up through the gears well, and that all worked out for us.
Great. We'll head upstairs to the press box. Press box.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. On the topic of the hernia surgery, I think you ran the half marathon in Daytona, so I assumed you were fully healthy by the time the season started. But do you think that in any way led to you starting not as fast as you wanted, either because of your health or because you weren't at the test and that put you behind it all?
Yeah, and I think there's a couple pieces to it. We missed, I think, 3 test sessions the start of the year. One was because of the hernia surgery, and I was back training again. I think it was 10 days later. So it was a laparoscopic procedure, so it wasn't all that invasive. First couple of days sucked, there's no doubt about that, but then quickly got back together and was training within 10 days. So it affected that first test date, and then we had 2 other test dates scheduled at Nashville that made us comfortable to give up that Charlotte test so I could have the hernia surgery, and both of those were canceled due to weather. So 3 opportunities for us to go test were out the window, and I do feel like that hurt us some and had us behind a little bit, especially once we did get to Nashville and we were there and the 4 car was there testing. We knew we had a gap to make up, and those guys were off to a quick start. So I think it was a combination of some bad weather and then my procedure.
We'll keep it upstairs.
Joe Jennings, motorsport.com. Jimmie, what is it about Dover that makes it so special, or you are so successful here?
It just fits my style. I mean, you need a race car that's loose and turns very strong here to get it done and to be fast on the long haul. And I just have to put a lot of weight in that. there's something too with the loading characteristics when you come off the straightaway and land down in the corner that fits with me well too. I notice that I make up a lot of time on people through that portion of the corner, and then I think the fact that I like a loose race car helps us stay fast for long runs, and those two things together work really well.
Got another question upstairs. If you have any questions down here, just raise your hand. Upstairs.
Brant James, ESPN.com. Certainly 2 wins in a row is great, but it seems like a lot of factors are coming together now. Do you feel like you're on the verge of maybe a big run in the summertime? And do you have any other non-secrets that you should definitely tell us about, like the hernia stuff?
I didn't realize that was one, a secret, or two, public information. I mean, it's just have you had any surgeries lately? Is there any procedures? When did you have your teeth cleaned? I need to know immediately.
10 days ago.
No, and again, it wasn't supposed to be a secret. I'm surprised. I mean, everybody at the track knew. All the other competitors knew that I wasn't there because I was having a procedure done. So why I didn't make it through the media center's beyond me, and no big deal, I guess. But we can get on a roll. We've got some good tracks ahead for us. I think that tracks really build momentum for teams and drivers. And going to Charlotte's a great track. Here's a great track for us. Pocono next weekend's Chad's favorite racetrack. And I think you can look ahead at the summer months and see who historically runs well at certain tracks and kind of pick your favorites. It certainly has been that way for us. The tracks that we've been bad at, we've gone there and have been embarrassed by our performance. And then the tracks that are good to us still have been good to us.
We're wrapped up down here with Ryan.
Ryan McGee, ESPN. Some drivers in the garage suggesting a repave because of the concrete thing. If they said they were going to repave this place, what would you do?
Pavement or concrete?
Several guys mentioned asphalt.
Asphalt. I heard the asphalt days were a lot of fun. I'm cool with whatever. It doesn't really bother me. I haven't felt like the surface has given me an advantage. I feel like it's the shape of the track, and then the way you land in the corner, and how you can pick your line and work the controls in the car to get through that landing portion of the track. So if the topography and kind of general shape stays the same, I'm fine with whatever surface is down. And just a quick note, whatever they put in that pothole worked awfully damn well. Hats off to the track for the fix that they made.
Well, Jimmie, congratulations again, and
Thank you.
we'll see you later.